Okay, so summer is coming to an end, and we've seen a lot of movies make $1 billion over the summer. Yeah, movies have only made a comeback and saw my preview, but this time I'm going to give you my anticipated movies of the fall of 2026. Y'all ready? All right, let's begin. There's 13 of them. I'm going to have a few honorable mentions before the first one. Excuse me, for the last one. All right? Y'all ready? All right, let's begin with the fall anticipated movies of 2026. 13th place, we got Madden. Now, this is the David O. Russell biopic about John Madden, and it depicts the life of John Madden and his involvement in development of the Madden NFL video game series. Now, you don't know, the Madden video games, they were named after John Madden. Of course, that Madden video game franchise has been great for years and years and years and years. And John Madden, of course, he was the coach of the Raiders from 1969 to 1978. He did win a Super Bowl there, and of course, he and I are both from Minnesota. So, yeah. And sadly, he did pass away 5 years ago. But they had Nicolas Cage playing John Madden. You have Christian Bale, who's playing the owner of the Raiders, Al Davis, Catherine Hahn, John Mulaney, Sienna Miller, and Joe Murray and Shane Gillis. So I'm curious to check this out. It comes out on Prime Video November 18th. Really curious to check it out. But however, there's David O. Russell, who's a difficult director to work with. And this could be goofy, this could be funny, this could be bad. However, a John Madden movie? Obviously, I know John Madden. I love sports movies. I love football. So, willing to check it out. Next up, we have The Social Reckoning. Okay. Does anyone remember the follow-up, The Social Network? That was over 15 years ago, and it was one of the best movies of the year from 2010. About Facebook's origin, Mark Zuckerberg, his betrayal of friends, and who you want to see succeed and who you want to see them fail. Now, Mark Zuckerberg is not a likable human being. He's not. But now seeing what he has done over the past couple of years with Facebook, this puts me in a curious position. I mean, Jeremy Strong looks like Zuckerberg. You also do have Mikey Madison, who recently won an Oscar for Honora. Jeremy Allen White, who has done his acclaimed show The Bear. So Allen White and Madison are playing real life people, and of course, it's written and directed by Aaron Sorkin and co-produced by Aaron Sorkin. Aaron Sorkin, as a writer director, has had good records. Him as a director, I mean, he's not great at directing, but not even close to awards. But I remember his last movie. I think it was called The Trial of the Chicago 7. That came out 6 years ago during the pandemic. Really dug it. That was really good. So, anyways, I'm trusting Aaron Sorkin with his story. I obviously would be on board with it. But at the same time, there is no Jesse Eisenberg, there is no Andrew Garfield or Justin Timberlake. But it's a new story, but it's trustworthy, but very curious at the exact same time. Number 11, Clara and the Sun. Now, this one's going to be biased because I'm a Jenna Ortega fan. Well, no kidding. And this one actually is based on a book from Kazu, I can't pronounce his last name. And it's written by, co-written, co-produced, and directed by Taika Waititi. And Taika Waititi as a director has been off the mark for a few years. But it stars Jenna Ortega, and she plays a dystopian future where the technology advances in genetic energy have divided humans into strict, isolated social classes. An upslit companion android named Clara tries to bond with Josie, a sick girl whom she was purchased. Okay. So yeah. I mean, I haven't read the book at all, but I'm curious. But also nervous. Because Taika Waititi's records haven't been really good for the past couple of years. But I do trust Jenna Ortega on this one. You also have Natasha Lyonne, Steve Buscemi, and Amy Adams. So that should be a good film. And, well, he has done some good films in the past couple of years. Jojo Rabbit being one of them, Thor Ragnarok, and The Hunt for Wilderness People. He has something good. And of course, I'm a huge Jenna Ortega fan, so of course I'm going to go see it because of her. Next up, we have Digger. Now, this is the latest new film from Alejandro G. Inarritu, who's the guy who's done Birdman, The Revenant, and Babel. Really dug his films, Birdman and The Revenant. Those are really good films. And the first ever non-Mission Impossible movie with Tom Cruise. And Tom Cruise is still in his prime. It is about the most powerful man in the world races to prove he is humanity's savior before the disaster is unleashed and destroys everything. Cruise and Inarritu, Tom Cruise is unrecognizable in this look. He's just going, but it is a swing film, where Inarritu is going and where Tom Cruise is going to do for his first ever post Mission Impossible movie. Because, he finished up Mission Impossible about a year ago. So, I'm curious to check this out, though. And of course, it has John Goodman in it. The trailer isn't really fully convincing me, but honestly, I haven't seen an Inarritu film since, 2015? That's been a while now, so if Tom Cruise and Inarritu can do it, why not? Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. He's done Top Gun Maverick, he's done Mission Impossibles. Yeah. Keep doing what you do, Tom Cruise, and yeah, this one makes the list. Next on our list is number 9, Verity. And this one is based on another book again, and it stars Dakota Johnson and Anne Hathaway, which Anne Hathaway's having a big year. And of course, this is a psychology erotic thriller film, and it stars my guy who I went to the same high school with. Well, technically he graduated 30 years ago, but I attended South High School long ago before him. His name is Josh Hartnett in this movie, and it's about Lauren Ashley is a writer in need of work when she is contacted by Jeremy Crawford, played by Josh Hartnett. Jeremy's wife is best-selling author Verity, and due to a mysterious accident, she is unable to finish her successful book series. Jeremy asked Lowen to complete the series, and while working on it, she discovered a manuscript raising questions regarding Verity's psychology, well-being, and the possible links to her publications. Sounds like misery to me. Because, writing the books. It fully won me over, and I'm down with it. Anne Hathaway's had a big year. Devil Wears Prada, Odyssey, and Mother Mary. So, and of course, The End of Oak Street. Josh Hartnett and I went to the same high school. I'm going to say it again. And it's being directed by Michael Showalter, which he's the guy who's done The Big Sick and The Eyes of Tammy Faye, The Idea of You. So, I'm definitely really a big fan of his work, but I'm definitely going to check this one out because of my guy, Josh Hartnett. And he's having sort of a resurgence. And I'm definitely willing to get scared in the theater this time. It even definitely has something that will definitely terrify me in my eyes. The trailers did fully scare me, but at the exact time, give me something that I truly want to go see and get me scared again. 8th place, Jumanji Open World. Now, this is the 4th installment in the franchise, in which we haven't gotten one since 2019, which was Jumanji the Next Level, which I love the Jumanji franchise. They obviously start things off with the original one where they had Robin Williams. Then you had Jumanji Welcome to the Jungle, then they brought The Rock back. Then The Next Level, which I thought The Next Level was a solid film. And now Open World. And it took some time, obviously, because of the pandemic, but the trailers did fully kind of get me nervous, but at the exact time, the characters come into the real world. But then it's a little bit awkward at the exact same time. But I love that the characters come into the real world, as we saw in the post-credit scene from The Next Level. Great to see that. I mean, The Rock hasn't had any big success, solid movies besides probably Moana 2. Jack Black, he's still killing it. Kevin Hart's still killing it. And Nick Jonas and Karen Gillian, Aquafina, I'm sure they're doing it. I haven't paid attention. I haven't seen this movie in like a long time. But I'm a huge fan of this franchise, and comes out a week after the big two films we'll get to later on. So yeah, trailers did make me nervous because about a lot of where it was, but I like that it obviously brought the characters into the open world, but it obviously did it in an awkward way. I mean, The Rock hasn't had any big success over the past couple of years, again. But it's nice to see that they're coming into the real world and not the video game, but willing to give this a shot, but if it doesn't, then I'll be very disappointed. Next up, we have Clayface. Now, this is a curious but a really fun way to take with James Gunn's DCU. It is co-written by Mike Flanagan, not really with the director's work. Of course, we all know Clayface is a Batman villain, which Matt Hagen is an actor who is transformed into being made of clay. He becomes Clayface, which, after having been brutally disfigured rising movie star named Matt Hagen volunteers a test subject to restore his original face by experiencing a series of horrifying side effects that transform his body into a living clay. I'm not sure how that works for a movie like this, for a villain, but the exact time has me a lot of attention. I mean, it is kind of feeling a little bit of a body horror film for on a $40 million budget. Not really familiar with all the actors in this movie, but as someone who is a DC fan, I'm so on board with this because I don't think we've seen Clayface in live action before. Not familiar with the work, but it is also produced by Matt Reeves, who will be co-producing this. And it is a story by Mike Flanagan. So I think it'll definitely be a refreshed air for the DCU. But it's also confusing in the same way, because how does this fit with this franchise? How do we, what is James Gunn doing with this character? Willing to check this out, but a little nervous there, a little bit scared though. But as someone who's a Matt Reeves and the Batman fan and a DC fan, definitely digging for a DC horror film. But confusing how the direction this takes. 6th place, The Adventures of Cliff Booth. Now, you may not know this, but Does anyone remember Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? Yeah, I bet you've probably never seen that, right? Well, this is a standalone spin-off sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And it is starring Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt played a cool character in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He did a good job, obviously, with F1. And it is being written by Quentin Tarantino, but it's not written by Quentin Tarantino. It's being directed by David Fincher. David Fincher is a good director. I mean, I like all of his work, though. I'm obviously my favorite film of his all is, y'all know it. And my personal favorite film is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. I've read the books, and he's done a lot of great works. Obviously, Seven, Fight Club, The Curious Benjamin Button, Social Network, all that. So, him and Brad Pitt have worked together, so I'm aboard with it. I mean, back in the 90s when Tarantino was just getting discovered into film, he's done, True Romance, Dusk Till Dawn, and him as directing, I mean, he's probably thinking about his last film, but he's talked about it, but he's still working on it, he still has an idea for it, so he's like, yeah, I'm just keep on writing and let someone else direct. So this is what he's doing right now. So, I mean, yeah, let's take the character and see what he is after Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, because, he was a really awesome character. He stole the show from DiCaprio and won an Oscar for this role. So, David Fincher, put me on board. And of course, Brad Pitt, Cliff Booth, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I'm buying on it. But curious how this is said, but it says here it's set in 1977, 8 years after the events. And of course, this is a Cliff Booth standalone movie. That is David Fincher's film, and it is a Netflix original. So, I'm definitely seeing this. I'm on board with this. And it did fully win me over now, and I'm fully buying it. 5. Werewolf. Now, this is a new film from Robert Eggers. As you all know, Robert Eggers is the guy who's done The Witch, Lighthouse, Northman, Nosferatu, and now this. Like, I'm liking his work right now. Like, I remember watching Nosferatu, I was like, that was definitely scary, but it was definitely good. And he's one of those directors that's has some great works in it and done some nice jobs. Like, I remember watching The Northman the first time, and then I was like, yeah, that was definitely something. And then of course he did The Lighthouse and Nosferatu, and like that was my, and The Northman was my introductory to this. And of course, Werewolf is stars Aaron Taylor Johnson. You have Willem Dafoe, which obviously Willem Dafoe is starting to work frequently with Robert Eggers, and of course, the daughter of Johnny Depp, Lily Rose Depp. And this is taking place in the 14th century England. A town is haunted by a ravenous beast that threatens the safety of a man and his family. Honestly, I don't think I've ever seen a lot of werewolf movies these days. But Robert Eggers, I definitely trust him. Like, he's getting better and better and better with his work. Definitely he's done a lot of great things that can make you enjoy it and also make you feel scared a bit. Now, at the exact same time, it makes you like it. My only thing is that I'm not a guy who sees a lot of werewolf movies these days. I've never watched a lot of werewolf movies, but I'm curious. Yes, but I also trust Robert Eggers, and of course, he's got Aaron Taylor Johnson, 2 years after he did Craven the Hunter. He's then you have Lady Rose Depp work with Eggers on Nosferatu and Willem Dafoe. So definitely on board with it. Definitely willing to check this out because he's starting to become like these next generations of filmmakers that do scary films. Yes. And of course, it will be released in December, Christmas Day in America. So maybe it'll be a little while before I can see it. But excited at the exact same time. And ready to be scared again. In fourth place, Ebenezer. This is a new adaptation of A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens and is being directed by Ty West, who's the director of the X franchise, and it stars my personal favorite actor, Johnny Depp, which this is supposed to be like a big comeback role for him because, he's a guy who's been on his spotlight because of what happened with him and Amber Heard. Amber Heard was his wife that they both accused each other of abuse. They had a big trial going on. So yeah, this is supposed to be like their big, like his big comeback. And we all know the story of A Christmas Carol, though. We all know the story from Charles Dickens. But this is kind of a new adaptation and version of the story, I guess. Set in early Victorian London, following the miserly businessman Ebenezer Scrooge as he's forced through visions of the past, present, and future, and we all know the story. But Paramount's marketing used the tagline, the name, "You know the story you don't know." A technical adaptation explains upon familiar elements of Dickens' novel. Now, I grew up a fan of Johnny Depp for years. And I'm really excited to see and check this out because Johnny Depp was the guy who dominated Hollywood, and then the whole trial thing happened between him and his wife. So I'm really willing to root for him and can't wait to check this out, though, because I've been waiting for Johnny Depp to come back, and obviously to the theaters, though, because I've been a huge Johnny Depp fan ever since Pirates of the Caribbean. And of course, we also do have Rupert Grint, who played Ron Weasley in the Harry Potter franchise, Daisy Ridley, Ian McKellen, and Andrea Riseborough. I'm really looking forward to seeing Johnny Depp on the big screen. Can't wait to make me laugh. Can't wait to make me excited. The trailer totally did me up. But the trailer did obviously kind of make it feel like it's Johnny Depp's comeback. And having a little bit of a reference to what happened to him in A Nightmare on Elm Street. If you haven't seen it, sorry. Yeah. With him getting involved with a bed. It won me over, and I'm definitely gonna see it because it's Johnny Depp. I've been waiting for it for a long time, and I'm rooting for him, and I hope he does good, and hopefully he does succeed. And willing to give something that I'm really look forward to, because I've been waiting for him to come back to the theaters and obviously make money, and willing to check out more. And we all seen what happened to him at Comic-Con, involving his character. And we all know the story about it, but I'm not sure how this is going to go because there's been multiple stories about it. But what the heck? I'm going to see it. I'm willing to check this out. Because of Johnny Depp. Third place, I Play Rocky. Now, this is the real story and told about the making of the 1976 Best Picture winner film, Rocky, which we all know the story. Sylvester Stallone bet his life on. He wrote the script for Rocky, and he's the guy who played Rocky throughout the last couple of years and created this big franchise, a big sports franchise. And Rocky is the greatest sports movie ever told. It won Best Picture in 1976. So yeah, everybody knows the story, and it did succeed. Everybody knows how well Rocky did. It did have some Rocky vibes. It did have some Rocky feelings, though. It's been directed by the guy who did Green Book, which, yep. Not familiar with the screenwriter's work, though. The actor does sound like he's playing Rocky and Stallone, even though Stallone played Rocky. Let me check this out and see what it was like, obviously, how they made Rocky back 50 years ago. But at the exact time, a little nervous about how Stallone will react to it. How will he like it? Will he hate it? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? The trailers totally won me over, and I was like, okay, this does have some Rocky feeling to me, and that's how the movie was made, and of course with the score and how the tone was. I'm willing to give this a shot, and hopefully it Stallone likes it, but if he doesn't, then at least he saw it. Again, this movie is almost as came out 50 years ago and is the best film ever. So, totally just, oh my gosh, just so on board with this. Because Stallone bet his life on it, and what do you know? He made the greatest movie of all time, Rocky. Our runner-up, Avengers Doomsday, and we all know we've been waiting for this ever since it was announced. Of course, you do have Robert Downey Jr. returning as Dr. Doom. You have an ensemble cast. Like, this is the part 1 of 2, which will have a sequel in about a year. Which we all had the teasers and everything, and now the trailers. It makes you so excited because their plan was they were going to do Kane, and obviously it didn't do as good as I would expect. So they were like, so they brought in the Russos, and who did they bring in as Doom? Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom. We're also bringing back Chris Evans, Hemsworth. We're bringing the Fantastic Four, Ant-Man, Sam Wilson's Captain America, the Thunderbolts, the X-Men in here. Sure. It feels like we're going to have like the biggest Marvel movie in years. I was just curious about the marketing though. Like, the marketings were just confusing though. But then last trailer we got for D23, really the best marketing they ever done. And again, this is a part 1 of 2, kind of like what they did with Infinity War and Endgame. This is definitely going to be probably one of the biggest movies Marvel has done for years. It's going to be so hyped, so exciting, and obviously the biggest. Again, I just can't wait to say more about this because it's just so exciting because of the announcements, the cast, the characters, and going to be a big fan event of the year. Can't wait to look forward to it. But in first place, obviously, y'all know there's got to be Dune Part 3. No, this one is the most exciting. Denis Villeneuve, Christopher Nolan are the directors that obviously have continued to do cinema well. This franchise, ever since they've tried to make it like back in the 70s, that was it led to the whole Alien thing. Then with the David Lynch thing, the David Lynch movie adaptation, and it didn't do great. And now here we are, and we're getting to the final part of it. Really dug the first two. I love this franchise so much. Party Part 2 is the best of them. The trailer's fully won me over. And not only that, but it's also the same release date as Avengers Doomsday. So they're calling it Doomsday. Not Doomsday, Doomsday. So this is like Barbenheimer 2.0. And both of these are definitely gonna make a lot of money. Can't wait to see this. Trailers definitely have won me over, but probably will get emotional when I see it. Sorry, I'm just getting emotional about it. Just ready to see how Denis Villeneuve and the cast closes out this franchise and end Frank Herbert's story. Ever since they were looking to end this for years. So, here we go. And this comes in at number 1. And I'm willing to check things out. December 18th, which will be Doomsday. Again, Doomsday, December 18th. Here we come. And before we end this video, I have a couple honorable mentions, just 3. Ray Gun, which is obviously the first Brad Bird movie he's done in years. He's done The Iron Giant, The Incredibles, Ratatouille, Mission Impossible 4. So, yeah. Finally gonna get a Brad Bird movie. We got Violent Night 2. Obviously, I love the last film. Thought it was a fun, die-hard Christmas movie. And it's crazy we're gonna get a sequel to this. And, of course, Prime Time, which stars Robert Pattinson about catching predators. Little bit might be controversial because it was about Chris Hansen, but again, this is a true story about Chris Hansen. So you got 3 honorable mentions, and this will do it. And that's gonna do it for this video, everybody. I hope you all are excited for these upcoming movies, and if you are, let me know what movies I might have left out. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. You already know the rest. In the meantime, see you all